on parody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had from the start of my blog, I worked with a woman who's had to remain anonymous for the whole thing, and she just did this dedicated weekly thread of stories, that everybody else was ignoring, and we realized very quickly that we didn't have to editorialize at all.
Yeah.
We just had to present the facts. And the facts were so upsetting. And that really helped us because without editorializing, it's harder to dismiss the stuff.
Yeah.
Because we really were just recounting stories that had appeared all over the world in some magazine or newspaper or other. Sorry, magazine. There's no magazines.
There are magazines.
There's sort of magazines. Not the way there used to be magazines.
Do you ever write for The Spectator?
No. I think
You
I might have
should.
written a few things for them in the
You
past.
should do their diary. I'm going to hook you up with my editor.
Yeah.
You'd be good
No,
at that.
I'm really enjoying writing now because of AI.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it is an absolute pleasure. It used to be what the guy who wrote what was it called? Not leaving John Malkovich, being John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich, yep.
Charlie Kaufman, he said, my job as a writer is I sit down at the computer and I don't know what to do. That's how he described writing as a job. And that has been true for the vast majority of my years on Earth. 55 years, it's been like that.
Yep.
But now it's like a writing partner who you go in, you sit down. What I tend to do is I smoke a joint and I record I use a transcription device and I just blather what I want to talk about and what kind of shape I want it to be and so on and so forth. And it just gives me a first draft.
Yeah.
And the first draft is never in my voice. It's never quite right, but it at least is written down. So you suddenly start. I've always preferred second drafts anyway.
Yeah.
My first drafts, I used to call them toilet paper.
Yeah.
Because I would just write something just so I could put the end at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then read it almost for pleasure and see where it was annoying me or see where it wasn't working for me, And it just means now I can get to that first draft a lot quicker.
Yeah. I think that's always like the barrier for people too. I always used to joke about like The Secret, and I'd be like, the person who wrote that book was like, I just envisioned writing a book and then the checks just appeared in the mail. And it's like, yeah, you wrote the fucking book. Like, that's the part that normally trips people up.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not like, they're not like just visualizing, like, you have to do the work. But this is,
absolutely.
It does lower that barrier to entry. We had a great guest on the podcast, Sarah, and she's like very pro AI and was talking about how it can be a partner, and basically humans are like there's something about AI. You shouldn't be insecure about AI, but it does make humans insecure.
Yes.
And she was talking about using it in comedy and how it can't really write jokes yet. I find that it is amazing for brainstorming.
Yes.
It can think of things that I can't obviously think of. It just has access to everything.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, I need 10 instances of, I've been working on this bit about the algorithm actually. And I'm like, give me 10 instances of how the algorithm, of like what people used to do when they were, rituals that they had for honoring primitive gods.
Okay.
And so it will just like be like, and then from there I get to pick and choose. And it's so like, I find it very, like you, I find it very useful.
Yeah. And imagination can't really fire without input. Like there's a brilliant book called A Technique for Producing Ideas, which was written by a advertising guy. And he realized that at some point he realized, okay, it is my job to come in every week, listen to a business and come up with a pitch, So he felt that he just couldn't leave it to the muse visiting him, you know? So he developed this system that he swears by, and I have to say I've been using it since, and it's a brilliant system. And what it is the first stage is research.
Mm-hmm.
And he says there's two kinds of research. There's the research into the subject, and there's the research you do in terms of your interests and all the books you've already read or the book you're reading at the moment. That's all research as well. That's all the input. And the second stage is you assemble the research into some sort of, like, you write down ideas on cards or a list or whatever it happens to be. And he says the third stage is playing with the material.
Yeah.
So what I do with a sitcom is I write loads of funny ideas or lines or characters on cards, and I put them on a table and just start messing around with them and just thinking about that could be in this episode. This seems connected to this.
It's so fun.
Yeah. But here's the best bit, right? The fourth stage for him is he says, do literally anything else. He says, go to a movie,
Yep.
Relax, go on holiday, anything, but don't think about the subject.
Yep.
And he said that sometime during that period of relaxing, you will get the eureka moment.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's been my experience every time. And
Yes.
you read about all these kind of like great thinkers and writers and people that I look up to in the past, and they spent a shitload of time doing nothing. Sitting in cafes, smoking cigarettes,
That's
talking to people, going for long walks every day.
Yeah.
Just it's always in the shower, that like stupid cliche for me every time I'm in the shower.
Absolutely.
I have been wanting to write a book for 10 years.
Yeah.
And for me, I need a frame. It's like improv. Like if I don't have a frame
Sure.
or a frame for something, or like even an essay, I'm like, what is the frame for this? And I've had like this idea, and then one day it was like the whole thing came, I felt like AI, like the whole thing came downloaded to me in the shower. And I was like, oh, why didn't I see this? This is totally the way I should frame this book. And it's in my wheelhouse and in my lane, and it's something that I'm excited about, and it answers a question that I have a question to. And but it took 10 years for me to get to that place.